Hey everybody, it's Megan from I Love Bodywork doing 30 ideas in 30 days to increase your health, happiness, and wellness. Today is day 15 and it's all about journaling. So before you pause this video or stop this video, listen first. I'm sure some of you are feeling like journaling, like, that's ridiculous. But the other people who know how important journaling is, will totally get this video. So what I would like you to do is watch this video. Let's do a challenge. Watch this video, and then when you're done watching this video, take your phone and put 5 minutes of a timer on your phone, and then think about journaling afterwards. Think about what I talked about, think about how it relates to you, think about what ways it could be helpful, what ways it might not be helpful. Whatever it is, just think about journaling for 5 minutes and that's it. And then just see how you feel afterwards, right? So that's your challenge for this evening. So why journal? Journaling essentially answers the question why, right? You start going down that rabbit hole of why am I stuck? Why am I hurting? Why am I not doing the things I want to do? Why did this thing happen? Why did this person say this thing, right? So the where, the why, the how. It's also for self-reflection, and it can help you work through periods of stagnancy. So maybe that stagnancy is in your behavior, you're having a repetitive behavior or reaction, and you're not really sure why, or an automatic reaction, and you're not sure why, but in some way you're stuck. That's what I mean by stagnant. You could also use journaling to track your food, your exercise. You can do a dream journal. You can release the burden of secrets and shame. So things that you don't want to talk to somebody about, but like you need to get them out, right? You can write them down. You can journal about the situation or whatever it is, and then safely burn it. Is another form of journaling. You can also use journaling to document a process. So maybe it's an event or something that you're going through, or something that you know you're going to go through, and you want to be able to go back later and look at it from the perspective of after the process or whatever it might be. You can use it to document that as well. So my first experience with journaling was in my first yoga teacher training. And it fascinated me that I had all of these thoughts and these beliefs in my head, right? So when I'd think about something in my head, I'd go, I believe this, I think that, I know this. But when I actually was asked about it in a journal and I journaled it, my thoughts and my ideas on paper were not as concrete as I thought that they were in here. So that got me really interested in, what do I know? What do I think I know? Who do I think I am? Because what's going on up in here is actually not being expressed in the way that I thought on paper. So where is the disconnect? That was just an interesting part of that process for me. A good thing about journaling was that it gave me clarity and it gave me a process to continue. So when I need to work through something because I've already done it, I know how to journal now in the future. I'm not starting necessarily at ground zero. And that is a good, healthy thing for me to do on a regular basis. Again, you also get to go down the rabbit hole. Why did something happen? How did it happen? Where did it happen? What happened? It also helped me to list and prioritize. So when we were talking about things like in a business journal, like what are your ethics, what are your values and your morals and things like that, it helped me to prioritize the things in my business, which then, I was able to journal the things in my life as well. So how can it help you, right? That's really what this video is about. Do you have things about your thoughts, beliefs, family, social circles, your work that bother you or that you don't understand? Maybe it's something that you said, somebody else said, something that happened, a reaction, whatever it is. It's just this thing about this person at your work bothers you and you can't get over it. This thing that you do every time this thing happens, it's like you can't make a different decision in the moment, right? This is forms of being stuck. You can write these situations down to help yourself better understand and to self-reflect, to take the time to self-reflect, right? Another theme in these videos are writing things down, make them real, right? The goals in your head are not always real until you write them down. You don't fully understand the situation in a lot of ways when you're stuck until you write it down and go through that process. Also, writing forces you to go slower in your thinking process, so you can't skip things over as easily when you're writing a situation versus when you're just thinking about the situation in images and pictures and it goes by, super, super quick. Do you react in ways that you normally wouldn't, or you wish that you wouldn't, right? Journaling about that is helpful. And then, do you feel like you don't know who you are? That's the question, right? Who am I? Journal about it. Who do you think you are? This is really interesting information to get into. It's about clarity, growth, and empathy. Like when I think of journaling, that's the three things: is to create clarity, to grow from a situation or in a situation, and then to have empathy for myself and others in that situation. And journaling helps me to develop better empathy skills. So where do you start, right? Your resources. The internet. Internet's first and foremost for a lot. If you have a specific situation and you feel like you need to get it down on paper and kind of break it down and think about it, literally Google journaling process for, and you will definitely find something. And if you're concerned about whether it's good or not, just use your common sense. If the questions seem easy, that's not a bad thing. But if the questions seem really dumb, then maybe, you want to skip to the next webpage or something and find another one, and find one that feels like it's going to take you on the process that you want. Your next thing would be self-help books. So that's another thing that you can do. Often, I don't know about the chicken soup books because I haven't personally read those myself, but codependency books, addiction books, usually family issues, stuff like that. Any kind of self-help book that's usually written from a therapist will have a journaling process in it. So you can go on to Amazon or Barnes and Nobles or whatever and look for a self-help book about that specific thing, and they will often have journaling process. You just need to make sure that you do it. So when you're reading the book and at the end of the chapter it's asking you questions, write it down in that book or in your journal. You can also, what I should say, the first thing to do is buy a journal and some pens. So what I like to do is I'll go to Barnes and Nobles just because they have a big selection. And I'll pick the one that honestly I think is the most pretty. That's how I pick my journal. I find the one that is the most attractive to me at that moment in that day. And then I make sure that I have some pens. And then I will carry that journal with me in my backpack or my purse or whatever all the time. Some daily exercises that you could do to start journaling, if you're not necessarily sure, exactly where to start, is a gratitude journal. Write down 3 things that you're grateful for every single day. If they can be different, awesome. But if it's I am grateful for my job, my dog, and my husband, and those are the 3 things that every single day I'm they're popping into my head, I'm going to write those things down. Having gratitude and feeling gratitude, it changes your vibration and it changes the way you think about the world and the way you feel in the world. Also, you can use a daily journal for writing down your goals and your intentions. So your goals are to be debt-free. Your goals are to get a new job. Your goals are to get a massage once or twice a month. Whatever it is, write those goals down. Again, it makes them real. You can also write down any major events or feelings about those events. And you can write down and congratulate yourself on any of your wins. So you wrote down your goals, you met those goals, write down that you met those goals and congratulate yourself. Have a celebration about that, or write down the little wins. I did not yell at my husband because he didn't take the trash out. Win, because that's, that kind of reactory stuff are things that I'm working on. You can record events, travel, new experiences, new relationships, ending relationships, anything like that. If you're not getting results from a diet change, maybe you want to try a food journal or work with a nutritionist. But if you want to try a food journal, then you're just basically tracking all the food that you're eating, because we'll often tease ourselves into thinking if we just do it in our head, we're trying to keep track of what we're eating in our head by the end of the week. A lot of those things that you don't want to be eating to lose weight, kind of get forgotten. So when you have it written down, you can't bullshit yourself, basically. You can use a journal for business. What are your ethics, values, morals? When was the last time you thought about that? When was the last time you wrote it down? If you're a business owner, you need to do this right now. If you want to be a business owner, you need to do this right now. What are your goals for your business? What are your goals for your employees if you have them, for yourself? How do you feel about money? What's your relationship with money? You know, do I like money? Do I hate money? How do you feel about it? Have you thought about it? Write that shit down. How do you feel about employees, boss, education, like these things? You need to write them down. So you're coming from a place of clarity, and so you're starting some, basic expectations for yourself and guidelines to follow. This will allow your clients to have expectations of your business because you already know what your ethics and values are, and you're probably going to state them clearly. The journal can literally be whatever you need it to be and whatever you need it for. But you won't really know what the benefits are of a journal or what the advantages are until you do it. So the first challenge was, after this video, to time 5 minutes, sit down quietly somewhere and just think about everything that I said. Your second challenge is that if this was really interesting to you, but it was a lot of information, grab a pen and paper, rewatch this video, and take notes on the things that are going to be the most beneficial for you to start right now. Your next thing is to go out and buy a journal and start journaling. Just literally start journaling. I'm sure there's even books about journaling that if this piqued your interest, but maybe you need something a little bit more focused and guided, then you can find a book about journaling or dream journaling or food journaling or something specific. So thank you so much for watching this video. I hope this was helpful information. I also hope that for people that don't journal, that this gave you a little bit more of a invitation and opportunity that seems or feels more realistic and in a helpful way, to start journaling or to give it a try. So thank you so much, and I will see you tomorrow with day 16.